And we're back. Welcome back, YouTube. We're here with Between the Lines with another reaction.
Yes.
And something a little bit different. We're doing a little bit of whiskey with our reaction
It helps
today.
improve the flavor of the reaction.
It'll lubricate the transition.
Lubricate the humor.
You wanna move your phone?
Oh yeah, sorry.
I'm getting gurgly garbles.
So I was in West Virginia a couple weeks ago. So my thing is when I go to a state and I'm trying to find something to drink, it's got to be something local.
Okay.
So I found something, and apparently it's got really good reviews. So I picked up some of that good old Man Cave. Man Cave is a town, by the way.
Man Cave.
It's not just called Man Cave because it was made with men and caves and whiskey.
Shout out to West Virginia, Jesse,
Good
if you're
stuff.
out there. This is from your neck of the woods.
So, yeah, we're gonna try this today.
No, that'll be nice. For this reaction, go ahead and hit the like and the subscribe button down below. We're gonna try a little bit of whiskey, and today we're gonna be reacting to Audit the Audit. Oh, that's pleasant.
How much? Tell me when.
Yeah, just take it easy on me today, Dave. I just want to taste. That's good. I just want to taste it. I don't want to. Just so for those that want to see, oops. I'm not being a complete wuss. I've got a little bit in there. I've got some in there, about a half a shot. I'm coming off of a cold and all that other stuff.
Well, this will knock it out of you.
Yeah, this is really gonna work.
This is Grandpa's medicine.
Pappy's old corn syrup.
Hey, we got to do Oktoberfest. We got to do
Prost.
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 All right, give it a little sniff. I'm getting some oak. Ooh, that's actually pretty. Grab a little. We'll do a short sip.
It's really smooth.
Oh. Not used to that, Dave. Not used to that. That's really good, though.
It's 12 o'clock here. It's 5 o'clock in the UK.
Yeah, we're almost hitting noon. I mean, it's in the afternoon. We're not drinking at noon on a Sunday.
So I don't know if you've seen or listened to our past podcasts when we've done nothing but tasting, but it wasn't very productive.
Yeah. Whenever we've done just the tastings, we don't really get a whole lot done.
No.
So this time we're mixing it with a reaction. So hopefully you guys like this. So a whiskey tasting and a reaction to constitutional video. What a combination. What an exciting time we have here on Between the Lines.
Best kind of combination.
So today we're reacting to whiskey.
We don't drink and drive. We just watch videos about people driving
on a long sip. I definitely get the oak, obviously, but I'm getting, sorry, for those that don't know, I'm a wine guy. I make wine, so I have to compare everything I drink to something else. I have to pull the flavors out of it for some reason. I get caramel in this whiskey. I get a little bit of caramel in there. You can smell the caramelized sugars.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pleasant. It's a pleasant whiskey.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's well done.
You don't want to do. This isn't a shot whiskey.
No.
This is a nice pleasant sipping whiskey.
You put some ice in there or whatever the case
like
be.
This is a sit down and watch a football game on a Saturday afternoon and get warm.
Yeah. You could be sitting out in the middle of 30 below and you're going
to be great and toasty. Yeah.
See, for me, I don't usually examine the flavor abstracts going on in there. I just know that I like it and I just drink it because it's either beer or it's whiskey and it's good.
So since we're drinking, we thought that a good video to watch is a video about police.
Yeah.
We on Between the Lines here, I mean, we're obviously supporters of law enforcement, so we don't want to come off that somehow we don't support police or anything like that. On the other side of the coin, I come from the fuck the police generation.
Yeah.
And I don't like police.
It's like that John Mulaney joke. Remember when he talks about when all the kids hosted a party at
fuck the police.
And like 100 small toddlers all in unison. Fuck the police.
Yep.
And he says that the cop that comes in and he was like, he was almost impressed. It almost brought a tear to his eye.
So today we're reacting to Audit the Audit, which is a channel that I watch quite a bit. And what I like about Audit the Audit is it breaks down police interactions. Because on YouTube you get a lot of people with camera muscles. And what I mean by that is they go out with their video camera and they get themselves into interactions with police, and they overact for the camera, and they get kind of overzealous, and I pay your salary, and you jackboot Nazis. We are very nuanced here, at Between the Lines, and we understand that there's good police. In fact, most police are just good, honest, law-abiding, law-loving Americans that just want to make their community better. Yep. And just like every profession, you have idiots that ruin it for everyone else. And on the other side of the coin, I'm big on the constitutional community and the audit community that are going out and filming police and filming in public and just making sure that we don't lose our First Amendment right and so on and so forth. But there's also assholes in that community too.
Well, the thing is, most cops, like most people, just want to make a living too.
Yeah,
they have families, they have goals.
They just want to get home.
They want to be able to pay for their bills too.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
The thing of it is that the job, by its very nature, is one of the few jobs that comes so into contact with people's attitudes.
Yeah, and and they see the worst. They see the best and the worst. In every situation. So, with that being said, this is one of my favorite Audit the Audit videos. And so what Audit the Audit does is it not only does it break down the video, but it actually gives you case law to go along with it, and precedent and stuff like that. So it's very meaty. It can be dry for some people. So if you're not into police interactions and the law and so on and so forth, you probably won't like this video. But if you're into this kind of stuff, I think you'll like it. So let's just dive into it. For a little bit of context, this guy is out driving with his wife. They get pulled over for speeding, so on and so forth. So this interaction is in regards to a traffic stop.
Code of Ordinances allows the Board of Supervisors,
and it does it again. We're not stopping this video.
On streets, portions of streets.
That's all right. I'm drinking.
Yeah, I'm not stopping. We're just going to rewind the video. For those of you that are wondering what's going on, I've been fighting with this YouTube thing where it wants to constantly skip to like the middle of the video while I'm trying to change views in OBS. So bear with us, because we're a new YouTube channel and we're trying to figure this shit out.
I got my whiskey. I'm happy.
Yeah, exactly. I like how he does this disclaimer too.
The who and what and the right and wrong of police interactions. This episode covers the extension of traffic stops, parking violations, and mental health, and comes to us from Mac and Bravo's channel. Be sure to check out the description below. And
see, Inception, a reaction to a reaction to a reaction.
Sometime in the fall of 2019, YouTuber, adventurist, and part-time delivery driver Mac Proctor, along with his dog Bravo, were parked in a non-designated parking spot in a private parking lot.
Oh, this is a different video.
Hawaiian Barbecue in Millbrae, California. According to Mr. Proctor, his vehicle
still a good
was
video,
not
but this is a
impeding
different one than I
traffic, and
thought
he
it
only
was.
left it there for 2 minutes while he picked up a carry-out order from the restaurant. After Mr. Proctor returned to his vehicle, a San Francisco PD K-9 unit, whose nameplate is partially obscured, approached him about an alleged parking violation. What can be seen on the officer's name tag reads C. Cord, and I was able to locate a public pay log that lists an Officer Carlos Cordova, who was last promoted in 2019. I also found this image of an Officer Carlos Cordova with the SFPD's K-9 unit from July of 2007 that looks strikingly similar to the officer involved in this encounter. I cannot say with absolute certainty that these two individuals are the same officer or that this officer's name is Officer Cordova, but for the sake of clarity,
sorry, again, we're drinking
such for the
during this video. So
the video begins just after Officer Cordova stopped Mr. Proctor and retrieved his identification and vehicle registration paperwork.
All right, Mr. Proctor. That is your last name.
What's your last name?
Everything okay?
Do I need to answer any of your
You don't
questions?
have to answer anything, dude.
Okay.
You don't have to. Lucky you stand here all day. I get paid either way.
Can you go ahead and finish your job so I can carry on?
What's it with the anger, dude?
I'm not angry.
You're not angry? You always talk to everybody like that?
I'm not angry.
Oh, okay.
I just want you to go ahead and wrap things up, please.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Proctor asks if he needs to answer any questions, and Officer Cordova informs him that he does not, stating that he can, quote, stand here all day, and interprets Mr. Proctor's unwillingness to answer questions as anger.
So, since we're kind of breaking this video down, there it goes again.
It did it again.
It did it again. Oh man.
It looked like it switched to Police Academy or something.
Yeah, almost at some point there. Let's see where we're at here.
Violation. What can be seen on the officer's name
We're
tag?
a little bit further. Let's get right back up to where we were here.
Any of your
You don't
questions?
have to answer anything, dude.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay. So anyway, I just got to remember to click out of YouTube if I'm going to be changing the scenes. It's really weird. But anyway, I want to point out, because this is a constitutional channel, that in this particular situation, I don't remember what they called Mr. whatever his name is, the citizen
I didn't
here.
do that.
Licking the inside of his glass. This is awesome.
Sorry.
So, the gentleman that's driving the car here, he has no obligation to answer any questions. He has the right to remain silent. All he has to do is there's a few things that he has to comply with. If he's asked for his driver's license and insurance, he has to provide that because he's in a vehicle operating the vehicle. But other than that, he's under no obligation to answer the officer's questions at this point.
The cop is coming off a little cocky.
Yeah, a little bit right off the bat. You can notice that like this cop is already like, why are you being angry? And it's like, I'm not being angry. I just want you to finish up. I have a right to, like, the Supreme Court has held that over time that a traffic stop can't last any longer than what it takes to actually finish the original intention of the traffic stop. For instance, if this guy pulled him over because he had a brake light that was out, the traffic stop can't last any longer than what it would take for him to write a ticket for the broken taillight. He can't go fishing. He can't stand there. And the officer says, it's okay. I can stand here all day, my friend. And that's already a no-no, because you can't overly extend a traffic stop. So,
but the guy was sitting there just to pick up food.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, is it like a curb situation where they were delivering it to the curb?
So he's inside a parking lot, and he's parked in like, you know how sometimes when you go into a parking lot, there's an entrance and there's like a little area, like there's no parking spots. It's just kind of like an empty area. He's parked in that type of area. So let's continue this here.
Lucky you stand here all day. I get paid either way.
Can you go ahead and finish your job so I can carry on?
What's it with the anger, dude?
I'm not angry.
You're not angry? You always talk to everybody like that?
I'm not angry.
Oh, okay.
I just want you to go ahead and wrap things up, please.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Proctor asks if he needs to answer any questions, and Officer Cordova informs him that he does not, stating that he can, quote, stand here all day, and interprets Mr. Proctor's unwillingness to answer questions as anger. Despite Officer Cordova's assertion that he can stand and wait for Mr. Proctor to answer his questions, police officers cannot legally extend the length of a traffic stop simply because a citizen refuses to answer questions. In the 1983 case of Florida versus Royer,
see, this
the
is what I like
Supreme Court
about
determined that although law enforcement officers do not violate the Fourth Amendment by approaching an individual on the street or in another public place and asking questions, quote, the person approached need not answer any question put to him. He may decline to listen to the questions at all and may go on his his way. He may not be detained even momentarily without reasonable objective grounds for doing so, and his refusal to listen or answer does not, without more, furnish those grounds. The framework for a traffic stop is a bit more complicated than a police stop that occurs on the street, because, as the Supreme Court noted in the 2005
This wasn't
case
a
of Illinois
stop,
versus
though,
Tobias,
was it?
an initially
I mean, it-
justified traffic stop can,
I mean,
quote,
Like he was
become
still, was
unlawful.
he in the process of still waiting for his food at this point?
He was, but it became a traffic stop when the officer activated his lights. Yeah, anytime that
I feel like Mr. Cordova was wanting lunch from this place too, and Mr. Cordova was wanting
was
to park
mad.
wanting to park where Mr. Proctor was. So yeah, that's my personal opinion.
Yeah,
But of course, that could be the whiskey talking. But I'm not saying anything out of turn here.
Yeah, but to explain that, as soon as the officer turned on his lights and detained Mr. What's his name? Is it Proctor?
Yeah. Proctor.
Okay, Mr. Proctor. Once he detained him, it did become a traffic stop. So
I didn't.
You're trying to get me loaded here, Mr. Hickerman.
Steve, do you?
Steve Hickerman. Inside joke. His real name's Dave Hickernell. Don't let me get it twisted, because those that aren't familiar with the channel might not know your actual name. It's a funny thing. We work in a service industry.
Ooh, I'm hot.
And
I don't know about you.
sometimes-
I'm warm right now.
Sometimes clients call in and they ask for Steve Hickerman, even though his name is Dave Hickernell.
Yeah.
I don't understand where they get it. This is an inside joke.
It's
So,
Steve.
Steve-
You know me as
Steve Hickerman.
Steve.
So hey, another.
Oh, I poured you a lot more, didn't
You
I?
did. Yeah, you're gonna
Sorry.
get me. I gotta drive home after this, Dave. You know.
So do I.
You know, like what are we doing here? We're gonna be on Audit the
We're
Audit.
going to be doing this for 2 hours because, it takes, 2 hours?
And next thing you know, we're gonna be on this channel. Like, you can't arrest me. I'm on YouTube.
I know my rights.
I know my rights. I have a constitutional YouTube channel. And we know what you can do.
For a minute there, you kind of sound like Bill Cosby. I don't know.
Oh,
pudding pop.
yeah. But when he hands people a drink, they don't stay conscious.
Yeah. It's true. They should have there's a new Netflix series called Sandman.
There you go.
That should be Bill Cosby's The Sandman.
Ha.
So
Anyways,
we're going
yeah,
back.
we're rabbit trailing very much.
I
here.
digress.
So they're just explaining now. So
I am
essentially,
hot.
yeah, it's getting warm in here. I wonder why. I might have to turn on the fan if it wasn't so annoying.
That's all right. There we go.
Anyway, so yeah, this guy is just kind of sitting in a parking lot, but it did become a traffic stop as soon as the officer approached him and started talking to him about what he's doing.
If it is prolonged beyond the time reasonably required to
So they're
complete
just
that
explaining,
mission.
yes,
In the 2009
you can't
case
prolong
of
a
Arizona versus
traffic stop.
Johnson, the Supreme Court explained that, quote, a traffic stop of a car communicates to a reasonable passenger that he or she is not free to terminate the encounter with the police and move about at will, and that the fact that the officer has completed the original mission
That's
of
a
the traffic
great
stop
fake
does
cop
not
uniform.
communicate to the driver or passenger
He was
that
happy,
their detention
too.
had ended and they are free
He
to
does
leave.
definitely a
For
put
this
on.
reason,
Yeah.
the Supreme Court held that police officers cannot ask
looks like
questions
Johnny
about matters
Knoxville.
Yeah,
related to
that's the
justification for
worst
traffic stop if
fake
those
cop
questions
I've ever seen.
measurably extend the
Is
duration
this-
of the
is
stop.
this
When it
jackass?
comes to Officer Cordova's claim that Mr. Proctor was angry, exercising the right to silence is not anger. And even if he was angry, he has a right to feel that way and express himself accordingly. With very limited exceptions, the First Amendment protects the right to free expression, including negative emotions such as anger. In the 1949 case of Terminiello versus Chicago,
Yeah, I
the
like
Supreme
this one.
Court concluded that, quote, a function of free speech under our system of government is to invite dispute. It may indeed best serve its high purpose when it induces a condition of unrest, creates dissatisfaction with conditions as they are, or even stirs people to anger. While it is unclear
Yeah, the
whether
most
Mr. Proctor
protected
was
speech is the
angry
one
during his
that is the
encounter with
speech we
Officer
don't wanna
Cordova,
hear.
all of his speech in the interaction was protected by the First Amendment, and he was perfectly within his rights to express himself.
All right, well, I'll give you a break on it, but I'm saying this isn't a parking spot, okay, dude?
You're not giving me a break. You're harassing me at this
harassing
point.
you because
I'd
you
like
parked
to
here.
leave. May I leave now, please?
Well, do you understand?
Am
why
I being
stopped you?
detained?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
All right. So do you understand why I stopped you?
Do I need to answer any
No,
more of
you
your
don't-
questions?
You don't have to.
Okay.
Okay. But then again, I could do this all day too.
Okay.
All right. So, would you like to leave, Mr. Proctor? Would you like to leave?
Do I need to answer any more of your
No,
questions?
no. I'm not the one that's acting this way. Okay. I'm just asking if you know, I'm trying to give you a break here. All right.
Officer Cordova informs Mr. Proctor that he is being detained because the location where he is parked is not a parking spot. However, the California Vehicle Code does not regulate most parking violations on private property, with a few exceptions found in Section 22500.1.
Again, this is
which
what I
prohibits
love about
parking in a
Audit The Audit.
designated fire lane in a private parking lot. Section 22507.8.
This guy does his research.
Holy
crap.
It's really good.
Is he an attorney or something?
He says he's not.
In a private parking lot. And Section 22511.1, which prohibits parking in a space reserved for zero
I swear this
emission
guy could
vehicles
pass the
without a
bar.
valid
Yeah,
decal in a private
seriously.
parking lot. Additionally, a 2011 opinion issued by then California
How does one
Attorney
even
General
know-
Kamala Harris
clarified
was
that,
the
quote,
attorney
"A
general.
How does
citation
one
or
even
notice of
know
parking
where to
violation may
look
be
this
issued
stuff up?
only for
You know what I
illegal
mean?
parking.
You must
That
have
is,
a subscription
parking in violation
to
of federal, state,
what is
or
it?
local law. Accordingly,
LexisNexis
a citation
or-
under the vehicle
Oh,
code
yeah,
may
that-
not be
that's a
issued
good
in
point.
connection with parking on private property that merely violates the property owner's rules rather than federal, state, or local law. While Section 21107.8 of the California Vehicle Code allows cities and counties to pass ordinances or resolutions declaring that some parts of the Vehicle Code apply to certain privately owned and public off-street parking facilities, parking violations are not included in the statutes that can be applied to private lots. Section 7.28.010 of the San Mateo County Code of Ordinances allows the Board of Supervisors to designate parking restrictions or prohibitions as necessary on streets, portions of streets, or county-owned property. But neither the ordinances of San Mateo County nor those of the city of Millbrae cover parking violations in private parking lots. Not only was
So
Officer
essentially,
Cordova
there's nothing-
outside of his physical
the guy's not doing
jurisdiction
anything
as a
wrong.
San
Yeah.
Francisco police officer when detaining Mr. Proctor, but it does not appear that Mr. Proctor was violating any law for which a citation could be issued.
I prefer you just write me the parking ticket and let me go.
Right, okay. Oh, okay. All right, dude. I was trying to be nice to you. All righty. Hold on. Happening, right? Yeah.
So now more officers.
Yeah.
arrive.
Just let you know what's going on. We're having another guy coming over real quick. Traffic guy with a side book. Since you want a ticket, so otherwise I didn't want to go through all this hassle. You know what I'm saying? Is everything okay?
Know what I'm
Is there
saying?
any other issues or anything going on that I should know of?
Do I need to answer your questions?
You don't have to answer anything. But I'm
He
concerned
keeps
about your
asking.
well-being.
Yeah, well, because the officer, what most people don't really know is in these situations, officers are allowed to continue questioning as long as they want. Now, because this is a traffic stop, he's not.
Yeah.
He's not allowed to continue this traffic stop just because this guy doesn't want to answer any questions. He's finding some interesting ways to get around that loophole. I don't have my traffic book with me, so I have to wait for this other officer who has the traffic book to write you a citation since you want a citation. So he's pretty much punishing this guy because he doesn't want to capitulate to his orders and recognize his authority, so to speak.
Did you see Mr. Cordova's annual salary?
No, I didn't. I missed that.
Go back to the early when he pulled up the listing for Mr. Cordova.
Way back at the beginning.
Yeah. I caught this when you were
Here?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Holy shit. $129,000.
I don't know if that's an average. That might be an average.
That's still.
That's crazy.
No, you can tell because that's not an average. That's his actual pay because you can see the raises. 2015, 112,000, 114.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
I mean, I'm not against cops being paid well for what they do, but at the same time,
Yeah. So back to
there's
here.
some CEOs that don't get paid that much.
Yeah, exactly.
Traffic guy
Anyways.
with a side book. Since you want a ticket, so
Yeah, so right there he says, I have to wait for an officer with a side book, which I'm assuming is their ticket.
Yeah.
You know, that's cop lingo for their ticket book. But he's absolutely prolonging this, punishing this guy for not respecting his authority. Now, I want to point something else out before we get back to the video. He keeps saying to the guy, "Why are you so angry? Is there anything going on? Like, are you
He's
feeling
fishing.
okay?" Exactly. So what if if he can get this guy to admit that he's angry or admit that, hey, I'm just having a bad day or something, then he can force him into a hold, and he can detain him for longer for, I forget what the verbiage that they use, but it's like almost like a welfare check or whatever, where they're allowed to detain you for your own well-being.
What gets me, I'm looking at this, and I guess there's a road over here somewhere.
Sure. That's the entrance to the parking lot.
So it's just, I don't know. It just seems like he was fishing for something to do today.
Absolutely. It's exactly like, why did he even start this traffic stop
that
to begin
boring?
with?
Was it Millbrae? Is that
He's absolutely fishing, and cops do this all the time. And again, I'm not. We support the police. We want police.
I'm not against.
It's because this is a traffic stop now. You'll notice that as he walks by, he's looking in the back seat of Mr. Proctor's car. He's looking in the backs of the windows. It gives them an extended search. They can search anything in plain view. So the longer this takes, the more of a chance that they're going to find a secondary infraction that they can write him a ticket for, because he'll fight this. This is a private parking lot. The police actually have no jurisdiction over a private parking lot, which was said in the beginning. So there's nothing that this officer, even if this officer writes him a ticket, it's going to get thrown out in court.
Well, just the quick backstory: a buddy of mine got pulled off, I can't talk today.
I wonder why.
I
wonder why.
He got pulled over, OVER, in front of my house, or where I was living at in Du Bois Town. And anyways, the cop pulls him over and proceeds to question him about what's in the back of his car. It was a bottle of mouthwash that he just purchased from and it was in a bag. It was in a freaking store bag. It's mouthwash.
It's none of your business.
Yeah,
is the correct response. But yeah, I get what you're saying. But they fish.
Yeah,
and that's why, not to get too far off into another thing, but recently the Pennsylvania Supreme Court upheld that anything that obscures your license plate is a violation of traffic law. So if you have one of those dealership things around your license plate, they could technically pull you over just for that. And then that gives them license to kind of look, maybe your registration's expired, or maybe you've got an open container in the back seat. All that, it comes as a secondary to them pulling you over for your license plate. So some lawmakers in Pennsylvania are trying to change that. But at any rate, yeah, this cop, in my opinion, has been fishing the whole time.
Otherwise, I didn't want to go through all this hassle, you know what I'm saying? Is everything okay? Is there any other issues or anything going on that I should know of?
And it should be mentioned that this guy has been incredibly calm the entire time.
Something wrong?
Do I need to answer any of your questions?
Well, yeah, if there's something wrong, it would be nice, yeah.
Do I need to answer any of your questions?
You don't have to talk to me. I'm just saying. I'm just concerned about your well-being. That's all I'm saying. Usually we don't get people...
He's concerned about the well-being of a person who parked in a random spot waiting for food.
Officer Cordova tells Mr. Proctor that he is concerned about his well-being because he is acting quote-unquote
Can you pause it for a
hostile.
second? I think Mr.
Implies that
Cordova
Proctor
would be
may
best
be
sitting
mentally
out
unstable.
in the
mental-
middle of a McDonald's parking lot pulling over people that are going through the drive-thru and question them. It's like, sir, what are you doing right now? I'm currently picking up my quarter pounder.
Thank you.
Is there a problem, sir? Are you angry? Yes, because I've been waiting in line for about 30 minutes.
Exactly. So the cop says that he's been hostile.
You don't have to talk to me. I'm just saying. I'm just concerned about your well-being. That's all I'm saying. Usually we don't get people...
This is the picture of hostile.
I've not been hostile.
Okay.
Officer Cordova tells Mr. Proctor that he is concerned about his well-being because he is acting quote-unquote hostile, and implies that
How
Mr.
has he
Proctor
been
may
hostile?
be mentally unstable. The mental health training that police officers receive varies greatly depending on the police department and the officer's position. In February 2011, the San Francisco Police Commission established a crisis intervention team.
I was hoping to
work
see
group, which included
Tackleberry in
criminal
that
justice
last-
system
Bum,
employees,
bum,
mental health
ba-dum.
service providers, advocates, community members, consumers of mental health services and their families, and other city agency representatives to develop new mental health training programs and field approaches. As of September 19, 2019, 95.69% of San Francisco PD officers had participated in a 10-hour crisis intervention field tactics course, but less than half had completed a 40-hour comprehensive training course. According to the San Francisco PD's website, the courses are based on the Memphis model of crisis intervention team training, which emphasizes
this guy's really in
de-escalation
depth
of
on this
potential
stuff.
crises
He
by
really is.
allowing
I love
time
this
and
channel.
distance, which means slowing
Just
down
because of
and giving
this.
the mentally distraught individual space. It is unclear what amount of mental health training Officer Cordova had received, but it is clear that his accusatory questioning of mental status helped de-escalate the situation. While the National Alliance on Mental Illness does list prolonged or strong feelings of irritability or anger as one of the common signs of mental illness in adults, it is highly
I want my
unlikely
5
that
guys,
Officer
damn it.
Cordova
Just
would
let me
arrest
go.
Mr. Proctor, even if he did believe that Mr. Proctor was suffering from mental illness. Because, although police officers are permitted to detain individuals based on mental health concerns,
You should have said I'm
this
hangry.
authority
I'm not
Yeah,
angry.
right.
I'm
situations
hangry.
where the
I'm not
individual is a
hostile.
danger
My
to
food's getting
themselves
cold.
and others, or is gravely disabled. According to Section 5150 of the California Welfare and Institutions Code, a peace officer can take an individual into custody for up to
This is what I
72
was
hours
talking
for
about.
assessment, evaluation, and crisis intervention when there is probable cause that the individual
Probable
is a danger
cause,
to
but
themselves
you have to
or
establish
is
that.
gravely disabled as a
But that's
result
why
of
he
a mental
keeps
health
asking,
disorder. After this initial
"Are you okay?"
72-hour detainment
You know,
period,
you seem
Section
kind of hostile
5250
because
of the
he's looking
California
for
Welfare
a
and
way that he can
Institutions
detain
Code
this
also
guy.
allows the
So
individual
pause
to
it for a
be
second. There's
involuntarily
this
certified
there's
for
this
up to 14
video that's circulating around. Now it's a thing that they circulate these videos where people see these random meth heads just doing stuff. So like there was this woman like just I don't know what the hell was wrong with her, but she was like dancing and prancing through the streets, and she was like running up driveways and like jumping and like yelling at things that weren't there and stuff. And it's like, to me, that indicates like some distress going on.
Yeah, that indicates that maybe that this person is having some issues.
It's pretty obvious though that there's something not right upstairs in these situations. Anyways,
In some situations,
and
anyway.
some, yeah.
15 days of intensive treatment related to the mental health disorder or impairment by chronic alcoholism.
So he
if the
keeps
evaluating
asking
professionals determine
if
that
he's
the
got a
individual is
problem,
danger
so that
to
he's looking
himself
for
or others,
a way that he
gravely
could
disabled as a
possibly
result of
detain
the
this
mental
guy
health
for no
disorder or
reason,
impairment
really.
by chronic
He's
alcoholism.
throwing around his
And the
authority
individual
is what he's really
advised of the
doing.
need for treatment,
Yeah.
but has not been willing or able to accept it voluntarily. Given the requirements of the California Welfare and Institutions Code, it would be nearly impossible for Officer Cordova to legally take Mr. Proctor into custody in this situation, because Officer Cordova did not have probable cause that Mr. Proctor had a mental health disorder or that he was a danger to himself or others, and Mr. Proctor clearly was not gravely disabled.
Oh, usually we don't get people wanting a ticket. You know what I'm saying? I'm going through all this. I could be having my lunch right now. All right, dude. Well, we'll be waiting.
This is boss. This is boss.
Mr. Proctor, can I just give you your stuff so you can leave?
Can you?
I can, but you're the one. I would have let you go a long time ago.
What do I need to do for you to hand me my documents so I can
I'll
leave?
give it to you right now. I just want to know that you're okay, because usually I don't get people.
What do I need to do for you to hand me my documents so I can be on my way?
You're okay.
I don't need to answer any of your
Hey,
questions.
there we go again. Jesus Christ. You know.
He's like trying to force the issue on this guy. It's like, you have
Exactly.
a
You're
problem.
trying to display your power to me right
That's
now.
exactly what he's trying to do. That's exactly what he's trying to do.
You
He
have
wants
no
he
reason to
wants
be
this guy to
concerned about
answer his
me.
questions,
So it's okay, then
and he
you're
doesn't
okay.
have
You can
to.
hand me my documents and I can be on my way, or we can...
Okay. So if I have your
Mr.
stuff, you'll
Proctor
be fine.
could
You
probably
take it
turn
off.
around and use
You're
Mr.
not angry,
Audit the
right?
Audit to turn around and sue this guy
You're
for
not gonna-
harassment.
Here, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna take a chance on you. All right, here, Mr. Proctor. Your value, everything's cool. All right. We're blocking traffic, your stuff. All right,
Sounds a little
hopefully
like Bill
everything's
Burr
okay.
does when he's doing his funny.
Am I free to leave now?
Yes, you are.
Could you please step away from the vehicle?
Don't open the door. Don't do it.
After being released by the officer, Mr. Proctor started his vehicle and drove away from the scene without further incident. Mr. Proctor told me
That's
that
boss.
he didn't
He's
file
sitting there
complaint
smoking a
because he had
cigarette.
sense of
Like,
urgency to leave the encounter as quickly as possible, so he wasn't able to get the officer's name.
Mr. Proctor, I don't know where you're at, but I like you.
that I didn't even know what his name was. I never got a citation. I'm not a First Amendment auditor, so I didn't think to go name and badge number, please. That didn't. So I've even.
Is this an interview
gone
he's
back
having
and
with
watched the
With
video
Audit the
about
Audit.
it.
Oh, that's
Get his
awesome.
Name off of his uniform, and I can't really see it clearly. So I was in such a hurry to break communication with him and get on with my day. He was costing
This is
me
why
money,
people need
you
dash
know?
cams.
That he was willing to go through such
Everybody
great
needs a dash
lengths
cam,
as
or
to have
what is it?
somebody
Like
else
there's
I'm gonna be
some,
getting one.
there's some apps on your phone that
to him
will discreetly
from across
record. Like
town.
basically you won't
I was
see
like, this
anything on the
guy's
screen,
crazy.
but it will
This
start to
guy's-
record.
Why
Yeah,
is he going to
and
try it?
they also have applications where it will automatically stream
Okay.
to a cloud service.
Oh.
Because one of the things that officers will do is they'll destroy the phone. Oops, it got broken. I dropped it, or it got broken, especially if there's a physical interaction with police. It'll miraculously get dropped during the scuffle and get broken. Or another thing that they'll do is if your phone has a fingerprint unlock, they'll take your finger while you're handcuffed and unlock your phone and delete the videos from it's happened. I'm not saying that all officers do this stuff.
I get you. Yeah.
But it's happened. So they have apps out there that upload directly to YouTube or upload directly to a cloud service, so that even if the cop destroys your phone, the evidence is in the cloud. You can get it after you're released, or a family member can log in and get the footage. Let's continue on
In
here.
February 2011, the San Francisco Police Commission established a crisis intervention team work group, which included criminal justice system employees, mental health service providers, advocates, community
Did we go
members,
backwards?
Yeah, you
consumers
did.
of
I was
mental
just
health
about to say,
services, and
this
there
was when he was
40-hour
discussing the-
comprehensive training course.
Ah,
According to the San
YouTube.
Francisco PD's website,
That didn't. So I've even like gone back and watched the video and thought, can I just get his name off of his uniform? And I can't really see it clearly. So I was in such a hurry to break communication with him and get on with my day. He was costing me money, that he was willing to go through such great lengths as to have somebody else bring a sight book to him from across town. I was like, this guy's crazy. What is he going to try and do here? Because he's not got some criminal.
overall, Officer Cordova gets an F for enforcing parking violations on private property, unnecessarily extending the length of the stop, and for questioning Mr. Proctor's mental health merely because he chose to remain silent. Officer Cordova's tactic of stalling the progression of the stop because Mr. Proctor did not want to answer questions is exactly the type of conduct that the court intended to prohibit in the Cabayas case, and the courts have concluded multiple times that officers may not extend the length of a traffic stop beyond what is necessary to accomplish the stop's mission. Barring the existence of an exclusive agreement between the property owner and the municipality, there is a high probability that Officer Cordova was not within his authority to issue a parking citation in the strip mall parking lot.
Oh,
and
shit.
there are also legitimate
Right.
questions to be raised about whether or not the officer was operating within his jurisdiction at the time. If Officer Cordova had genuinely witnessed Mr. Proctor's vehicle obstructing traffic, then the responsible course of action would have been to inform Mr. Proctor that he was creating an obstruction and ask him to move, not initiate an investigatory
Exactly.
detainment in a private parking lot outside of the department's jurisdictional authority. Officer Cordova's unprofessional demeanor and childish exercise of authority tarnish the credibility of his mission to free the parking lot traffic of obstruction, and this type of conduct only serves to erode the public's confidence in their local department. Mr. Proctor gets an A+ for invoking his right to silence peacefully and efficiently.
I like that
refusing
picture.
to allow
It's just
the
like,
officer's conduct
yeah,
to affect him
boss.
emotionally and maintaining
Like a
calm
boss.
and
They should have
collected
showed the
demeanor
picture
throughout
with him and the
There are
cigarette.
serious
He's like,
implications associated with being accused of mental
I
The
like-
only thing he didn't do is blow it in his face.
Position of authority. For most of us, it is impossible to predict how we
had
would
he done
react
that
to
though, he would have probably like provoked him.
Exactly, that would have been assault on a police
Mr.
officer
Cordova was
somehow.
waiting for an
Overwhelming
excuse,
denial of
as
the
far as I'm
officer's claims
concerned.
Absolutely
may have led to
was.
Further validation of the officer's suspicions, and admitting that you're feeling agitated and angry may invoke officer safety concerns. This is why Mr. Proctor's decision to remain uncompromisingly silent and
Always
emotionless
remain
was
silent.
the best course of action for this interaction.
Even if
Mr.
the cops
Proctor
have
is
the
not a
best
First Amendment
intentions.
auditor, and although he does have a YouTube channel, the majority of its content has nothing to do with law
Well, it's because
enforcement.
everything's
The
on
fact
video.
that Mr.
Yep.
Proctor does not
It's so
regularly
easy to say the
interact with
wrong
police
thing
proves
in a
his
moment
ability
like
to
that.
remain calm and navigate
Yeah, he
this
did so
encounter with
good.
precision and
I don't know that
poise
I would have
to
been
be
that calm.
much more impressive. The only thing that this interaction is lacking is accountability. but it is difficult to fault Mr. Proctor for not filing a complaint, given that he is not a First Amendment auditor and does not actively participate in holding officers accountable. I commend Mr. Proctor for excellently demonstrating a balanced use of the right to remain silent and remaining composed and peaceful while doing so. I highly recommend subscribing to Mac and Bravo's channel. You can find a link in the description.
What does he
below.
do?
Let us know if there is an interaction or legal topic.
He's
that you'd
a
like us
just
to
a
discuss in the
like
comments
a
below. Thank you for watching.
DoorDash
And don't forget to
driver
check out the
type
ATA
thing.
Patreon page.
Oh,
for more
really?
of this
Yeah.
interaction content.
He has absolutely nothing to do with auditing or anything like that. So that was Audit the Audit.
That was good. I like that.
Officer pulls guy over and seriously regrets it, which I think is an accurate title. Because Mr. Cordova, Officer Cordova, I don't think was prepared for that. So if you like this kind of stuff from us, like and subscribe down below. Comment if you think that Mr. Cordova was in the wrong or what you would have done in that situation. Just leave us a comment and let us know how we're doing. Otherwise, until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.
Bye.
Bye.